We're John and Nevada Lemke, and I met Pete going and volunteering at a camp back where I grew up and where he grew up as well. And we bonded and made a friendship there, and then found out we both were in the Quad Cities, and so we've just continued that friendship.
I met him when we bought our home here, I guess 5 years ago, which surprises me that it's been that long. It was right at the end of COVID, and I own my own clinic. I'm a chiropractor, and because I don't pay myself very much, it was really trying to get financing. So we had a nightmare with underwriting, and a bunch of people were getting waivers for COVID and rent, which we did not, but the underwriters, I was writing a check to my wife. Pete was awesome. He put pressure on the right people to get it done. We didn't get it closed when we were supposed to. It was a day and a half, 2 days later. So it was a nightmare. We didn't have a house at that point. Pete, with his many ties, put us up in a place for a day while we were in the midst of all that. So he was awesome with everything. And when I would talk to him, I would be discouraged, and he was always upbeat, and he's just a good man.
Well, we have 8 kids, so finding a house and shopping around was a chore in itself, just making sure we found the right house with the right space. But then when we got to closing, we had some struggles with, we had been paying lease payments, and so with COVID and all of those vouchers that they were giving for rent, we had to go back and get extra documentation to show we weren't receiving those, and so that delayed it. Since we were leasing, we had gotten out of our lease early, so there wasn't any way for us to stay for a couple of extra days when that delay happened. And like John said, Pete was right on top of it, and he found a place for us to stay for a couple of days and just kept pushing on the other realtor and getting the deal closed. So it was pretty chaotic at the end, and he was just there taking care of it every step of the way and just making it go as quickly and as smoothly as possible.
For me, it was that knowing Pete, I didn't feel like I was getting any misinformation. He was straight up, this is how it is, this is what to expect. When you have that feeling that you're not going to be taken advantage of, that was huge, and I recommend him to anybody.
Yeah, just having that that trust and that comfort to let him know our full situation, finances and all of that, and exactly what we were looking for, and it was just comfortable and easy. We knew we could share all of that with him, and that would help us to get the deal done, which was difficult, and get the right house. And no matter how many we had to look at, he was just there to help.
The process was a nightmare, which had nothing to do with Pete. It was us. But he was perfect. I can't imagine having a better situation. Like I said, we're blended. We have 8 kids, and they go with us everywhere. So they'd go to the houses, and he was,
all the
they loved
showings.
him. Matter of fact, we had a Super Bowl party the first year after we closed, and he was there, and his kids were there, and our kids were there. It was great.
I would do it over again. If we had another house, we would absolutely be calling him, and I would recommend him to anyone as well. For that personal connection that you have, you just know you can tell him everything, and he's going to remember that, and he's going to take that into consideration when he's working for you, and he never stops working for you through the whole process, no matter what obstacle came along. 'Cause some of them felt like we might not make it happen. At the time, it felt like a really crazy and chaotic, and he, like John said, he was just upbeat the whole time, and just
he
kept
was unwavered.
championing and talking to everybody and that was involved in the deal, and just really kept our spirits up through the whole thing, and he made it happen and supported us through that whole thing. And so it's just a different experience when you feel like you can really trust that person and let them know what's going on, and you can be vulnerable when you're feeling like down and worried, and he just makes sure that he keeps your spirits up and gets you through the process and lets you know it's difficult, but we'll get there.